Alright, so let's break all that down. So the first thing we have is this E note here on the A string, 5th fret. And this is a minor 7 flat 5 half diminished, 7, 8, 7, 8. So that right there, 7 on the D, 6 and 8, that's part of an A7 chord. So it's going from a E minor 7 flat 5 to an A7 after that E bass. And then you got these notes. You got 7 here with 6 on the G. You're going to mute this string in between. So that's a little harmony bit. You got 7 and 6, 8 and 7, 10 and 9, and then 12 and 10. And then he bends this 7th fret of the G string. Lets it come down off that bent note to a pull off down to that lower D string. The second part of that, he's bent already. So let's do that again. And then we're going to slide into this 9th fret from somewhere below with the middle finger. We got the 8s and 10s there. Okay, so once again from the beginning. Now our next part, we're going to go 9 to 10 on the G, and then 10, 13 on the B. So it's 9 to 10 and 10 to 13. And then 10 to 11 and 14. And that's a little half step bend. So that was 12 to 15 on the B. 12, 14 down here, a little half step. And after you pull it off to that, you got, so that was 12, G string, 12 to 14, and then 15, 17 on the B string. And that was back. So that's using all 3 strings there. Okay, now we got, let's look at that one again. We got this bend here, 17th fret, and down to that one, and then back here. And then we're going to slide from below into that same note, 16th fret G string. So that was. So it's all staying within all these kind of notes right in here. Except for right here, we get into that D triad thing. And then we're going to come down here. So that was a hammer on. Little half step kind of bend there. now we're going to slide into the 10th fret of the D string. So that's one of those things you got a kind of a pedal note and the other notes change around it to go higher. So 10, it's like part of that C chord, 10, 9, 8. 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 9 on the little string, 10, 9. That's 10, 8 at the end. And then you got an upstroke here. And then we got, so that's like 6 to 7 on the D. You got 5s there. And then part of a little G shape there. And then we got this little 8. 8, 10. 9 in the G. And then we got 7, 7. It's two of the same riff. 7, 7, 7, 9, 7, 7, 7, 9. So that's 7, 10, 7, 8, 9. And that's back to that C with a little half step. So we got that. And then a little chromatic. Half step bend. To the 11, half step bend on this 10th fret B string. So that was a to the 8th fret with a bend up there like that. And then there's probably a way to like bend this, get that kind of thing, but I'm not finding the right note when I try to tap on the 12. So I've been going like, I've been like bending that since I already had that one bent. Because that A seems to be the note you're trying to bend to with that. Okay, so one more time through it all. Suppose you could do it down here like this. By hitting that 5 on the bottom too. Alright, well, hope you dug that. Kid Charlemagne, Larry Carlton, awesome guitar player, Steely Dan, fantastic band. Okay, so the backing chords on this are G to A. So what I'm doing is going, so I'm going like basically on the bass note of this G chord. And it's a swing thing, so instead of 1 and 2, and it's like a 1, 2, So that's just a chord down and up, kind of in the same fashion. Dunk, da, dunk, da. So it's kind of like bass, bass chord, chord, bass, bass chord, chord. And I like to play the A. That one finger A where I'm muting the bottom E string. That's the easy one to get to. You know, you can play whatever A you want, but that's the rock and roll A. Okay, so let's break down that solo. So the first riff is 7 to 6 to 5 double pull off on the second string. So you go. So you're going to do that same double hammer to get to 5, 6, 7 on the way back. So it's 7, 6, 5, and then you hit the 5 again, and then you do 5, 6, 7 down to the little 5, and then you go 5, 7, and that's a little hammer on and pull off. You hold that 7th fret a little bit before you pull it off. So it's, and then on the record he goes. So he has two little chicks there and kind of the bottom strings or something around there. And then you're gonna hit that chick kick, one of these 5s, and then a hammer on down to the 5 to 7, down to the 5 there. So altogether we got, and the chicks. So that was, and then 2 5s. And that's a quick hammer and kind of another held note before the pull off there. So we got, and then we're gonna go, so that was hammer on 5 to 7 on the 2nd string, and a little tiny bend on that C note on the 3rd string down to the 7th fret E of the 5th string. So you're going to go 7, 7 to 9, and 7, 7 to 9. And then, so that started with the 9th fret D string, and then it does a hammer on pull off. So that's going to be 2 7s, 5th string and 4th string, hammering to the 9th fret, the 5th string. You want to keep it tall enough that you still hear the lower note. And that was 5 to 4 on the A string, 5 0 on the E string. So let's look at all that. So when we had the 5 0, we're going to go 2 to the A of the open of the A string. So 5 0 2 0. That next thing is we're sliding from the 2 quickly into the 4, the C sharp there on the A string, and doing the 2 and 2 over here on the D string and G string. So we got, okay, then we're going to have, that's part of a G chord, 4 3 3. Then we're going to slide into the 7 on the G string. Then we're going to hit the 7 on the bottom E string. And do the same thing to the 11 and 10 over here. So we're on the 3rd string and 1st string at this point. So let's say we go from the, in one of the books I've seen, they kind of have a prelude note before this high note starts going down, and they say it's this. So you could use your ear and figure that out to see what you like better. So that's a tricky part. So we got dee-dee-dee-um, dee-dee-dee-um, dee-dee-dee-um. And so your frets are going to be 15th fret, 14th, 12, 10, 9, 7, 5, and 3. So if you slow it down, it's just da-da-dee-um, 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 da-da-dee-um. And then that one pulls off to the open. Then you're going to go 3, 3, 3, 3. And that was 4 on this. So that 3, 3 was 1st string and 2nd string. And then 4 on the 3rd string. 0, 5, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. And then open on that D string. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 0. that 7 on the D string to a tiny bend on that C note in the G string. That's your E note, 7th fret, A string. Dum dum da dum dum. Okay, so I'll go through the whole thing one more time, kind of slow. Now let's get into the verse thing. So once we get we got, okay, so that's the first part. We're gonna go 0, 2, 4, 5, and then that becomes part of a D chord, like a 5, 4, 2, and you want to make sure you're muting the other strings. So we want we're just gonna be using those 3 strings mostly on this part. And that's a part of an A chord, but with a C sharp bass, so they call that A/C sharp. That's a B power chord, so that's 2, 4, 4 to the A. So bum, ba, da, bum. And what I'm doing is I'm going up, down, and then hitting those 2 middle strings, but staccato, and I'm stopping those chords quick with an upstroke. Now we're going to go down a string to the D, 2, 4, 5, to a G shape. This is a D shape with an F sharp bass. And I like to use this finger because it helps me get that shape and come into this one easier than if I got the pinky involved. So that one is a D chord with an F bass this time, as opposed to like that F sharp bass. So it has a more minor sound, has an F. Back to the A, and then back to the A string, the original riff. And then we're ready for the G to A. Let's go to that verse again. Here's how the solo kind of finishes. Bum, bum. So let's go ahead on to that double harmony guitars thing they got going here. So I'm gonna get this little loop going. The first part, so here comes the second part. Okay, so you've seen me play those parts, now I'm going to break those down slower. So first we got the G string open. So that was open G, and then 2, 4 on the D string, back to that. 2, 4 again, and then that was 0, 2, 4, 2. And then so that was A, 2nd fret of the G string, 2, 4. Now here you got a 2 3 2 to the 2 of the other string. So you want to keep those 2 strings barred to be able to do that quicker. So that's 2 3 2 to 2, and then 5 2 on the second string to the 2. So let's try that real slow. 2 3 4. And then here's the second part. It's going to start on the open B string. Open, open, O to 2 on the G. And the same types of patterns, but with just different notes. We're going to use the 2 and the 3 down here. So that was. And then we're going to shift to here. 2 4 2. And that one could be a hammer-on pull-off, or you just go however you want to do it. So that one is O 2 O to 2 on the second string, 5 to open, back to the 2. So let's do that one real slow. 2 3 and. Okay, so this is the opening solo of Don't Take Me Alive by Steely Dan. This is Larry Carlton on guitar. So let's take a look at this. First he does this crazy thing. Now if you could get this thumb over here, you could probably make a whole chord out of that, but it's really kind of tough to reach that whole thing. So it seems to me, like I was listening to it, and it seems like you might just kind of let that G go when it goes in the... Because you got these other notes sustaining, so you kind of don't need to keep that. And this is like a G raised 9 chord. So you got 3 5 5 4 6 6. And then it holds and it feeds back a little bit before he goes. So that's 2 10s on the bottom, doing a half step, kind of from an upwards position, coming down to the 8s. Then you can go with those 10s up and down, half step. Little hammer on. So that can be a difficult bend until you get your first finger real strong to do those bends, like that whole step bend with the first finger. So we got. So that was bend, bend, without picking it, just pick it once. Then pick it one more time. So that 10 on the D string, so. So that was 8 to 10 with a bend on the 10 to the 8 down here. And then 11 pull off to the 10. So that's like little half step bends coming from an up position down. So that's bend. So you got the 10 bending up, hitting the 11 underneath it and back down. Then the little 11. So that was a second string whole step bends there. So we got. That was little 8 to 10 on the G string. So that was the 8th fret of the G string bend. And then 10 to 12 up here in the A string. 10 to 8 there. So let's check it out again. So that's going up a C minor chord. And then we go to this 13 on the 2nd string. Kind of a rake, and then 11th fret. And then a little kind of a hammer on there. So you got 2 bends there in that 13. 3 bends on the 11 there. So that's G string, 10 up an 8 and stuff. So we got. So we got 8 to 10 on the A string. Hammer 10 to 12 on the D string to that 10 on the G string. Then you got 8, 10, and 12 to 10, 12 there. And then that's going to be the last note of that measure. Then a new measure. This is kind of a fancy phrase here. So we got, and then this is going to be the new measure starting on this 11. So that was 11 to 12, back to 11, pull off there to the 12, and then 13 to 15. And you pause for just a second there. So you got. So you got 13 to 15. So you got a little slide there. I don't know if I did that in the other take, but it's either a hammer there or a slide. It could go either way. But you come down to the 17 after that 18 bend. So we got it 15 to 15. Little 15 half step on the 2nd string bends. Then we're going to bend this 13. And then the last riff. You got 10 to 11. And then 12 on the G string is going to pull off to itself. 10 on the D string. So let's look at that last part. Okay, so we'll go through the whole thing one more time. All right, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll check you out later.